As we've mentioned a couple times, there are hundreds of CSS properties and just as many values to give to those properties. So it's just not practical to try to sit down and memorize all of them. When you're learning a new language, you don't sit down and read the dictionary for the language that you're learning. Instead, you learn, say, like a couple words, start to have conversations, and then pick things up as you go. With CSS, HTML, and JavaScript as well, that's the way that we recommend going about things, is don't try to memorize everything all at once, but instead just start to pick things up as you go along. However, an important skill to cultivate as a developer is to learn how to look things up so that you can find the information that you need. This would be similar to, say, for example, when you're learning a new language, to looking up a word in that language that you want to be able to say. So let's say, for example, that I have forgotten how to make text bold in CSS. What I might do is I might simply open up my browser and go to a search engine like Google, or in this case, I have DuckDuckGo, my preferred search engine, open. And I'll type in first a keyword for the general technology that I'm using, like, say, for example, CSS. And then a couple more words related to what I want to do, like text and bold, let's say. So when I search, I can see that what DuckDuckGo does in particular is it helpfully calls out some useful information from within some of these web pages. And I can see right away, it tells me font weight bold. So I can see that this is the declaration that I'm looking for if I want to make text bold. And I can do the same thing with Google search as well. I can type in CSS text bold, and I get some pretty similar results. Here, for example, I can see that the first result is going to be to the site W3 Schools, which is a really great resource. I can see over here along the side, I've got a lot of different CSS properties, and the pages that they link to contain a lot of information about the different ways to use those properties. So here I can see as well that this is probably what I want. One more really useful resource that I want to make sure to point out in particular is the Mozilla Developer Network web documentation. If you're ever unsure about anything in the world of HTML, CSS, or JavaScript, the Mozilla documentation is definitely the go-to resource. Generally, it's kept very up to date, and the details that it has on everything HTML, CSS, and JavaScript related is very detailed. It also contains a lot of really great references and guides, including tutorials for all of the things that we're interested in. So here, you could say if I go to tutorials, I can see that there's even a link right here for complete beginners on the web as well. So I highly recommend that as you start to write HTML and CSS code yourself, just go ahead and try searching for things that you might want to do or things that you want to try. And that'll help work out those search engine muscles in your developer workflow.